I want to talk about some things that we need to stop putting on our tech resumes. And the first thing is that summary of ourselves and summary of like the role that we're trying to go for and like our personality and stuff like that. I think we can stop putting that on the resume, or at least shorten it a lot. At least me as an interviewer, I want to use the interview to kind of learn about your personality and get a sense for who you are, at least in that little short time that I can. And it's just valuable space that's being taken away. And I feel like your whole resume should tell the story about what role you're trying to go for. You don't really have to put it in the top. The second thing is the experience. Especially early on, it's hard not to just put unrelevant experience on there because you want to look like you have some experience. But it's just more valuable to try to tell a better story. If you can connect some of your old experience, at least take the transferable skills out and try to connect that to your next role. Like I said, tell a story, then it makes sense to keep it on there. But if it has nothing to do with what you're trying to go for, it may be okay to just exclude certain jobs from your resume. The next thing is the bullet points under your job history. Make sure that you're talking about the things that you did. So I helped do A, B, and C, and this is the result of it, and not be talking about what your team did or what your company did. A lot of times, I even done it in the past, but a lot of times when people put their job history, they'll just put information about the job, like, and what the team was doing and what the team was working on, and not actually say what their specific part of it was and how they contributed and what they knew and what their skills were as it relates to the job. And like I said, tell a story about yourself within the context of that job. The next thing is, a lot of tech resumes, even myself included, will put a list of all the tech we know and try to put like a proficiency level. And I feel like it's just a guessing game for the interviewer, and they really don't trust it. They're really going to try to test that in an interview. And so I think maybe put a couple things that you're most proficient in. But like I said, you should have been already saying what you're proficient in using your job history and, telling more of a story in that way. So you really don't need to necessarily list everything out, but maybe just put a couple things there, and maybe use years. If you want to put a proficiency, put like the number of years you've been using it, or put like your senior level at it, like something that's more easily to understood, instead of putting like 1 through 10 or something like that, where it's kind of objective. The next thing is the projects that you put on a resume. A lot of times, especially early on, we'll have a lot of POC projects and tutorial projects. Try to, do more real projects that like you've actually productized and actually like went all the way through with. If you're going to add something that you could literally put a link on the resume and they could go to and see it working. That's more beneficial than just having a bunch of GitHub links to your repository where they're just tutorial projects that you just did, and they don't really have a lot of weight to them. Especially in the times of AI, you can literally get an AI to just write a tutorial project for you and just put it on your resume. So people are not going to trust that. But if you went all the way to the end and actually productized and put something out on a website, or at least a URL somewhere that can be accessed, then it will seem like you're more full scale from start to finish in software development, or whatever, if it's infrastructure or some, whatever your tech role is, something related to that. The last thing is the references. Some people choose not to put the references because you don't want somebody contacting your references before they've asked you. So a lot of people will say that, get the references on demand, and I think that's a good idea in some cases. I kind of irks me that you're creating a layer of friction with getting hired, because now they gotta like do an extra step to hire you if you don't have them on there. But I do see the benefit in like having sort of a check with you before somebody actually reviews your references, versus everybody that sees your resume just automatically calling your references before they even talk to you. So I kind of understand maybe leaving that one off, but that's optional. Maybe you decide to keep them on there. I don't think it's a big deal. So let me know what you think. Is there any other things that you would think to take off of a tech resume to make it more clear, clean, and concise? I appreciate you watching the video. Let me know what you think.